You're listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 72, the Deep Purple Game Show. And coming to you from the sweaty and humid suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, your co-host, John Nine Men's Misery Matola.
I think my favorite ones are when I can't even piece together what your thinking was or what's going on. Like sometimes I hear some reference and I'm like, I think I know where he's going with this. Don't know where you're going with this. You're going to have to tell me.
Hey, I had to really stop and think about that so I didn't screw it up because there was a lot of N's and M's in there, including my own name.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
So
the Nine Men's Misery. Nine Men's Misery Monument is in Cumberland, which is my neighboring town.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it's the oldest.
If you've ever been to Cumberland,
oldest known,
Well, if you've ever been to Cumberland, you know something about misery.
Well, Cumberland isn't that bad.
No, yeah, but if you're from the town I'm from, you're contractually obligated to rag on Cumberland anytime you get a chance. Like
I see.
We call it Scumberland.
I've never heard of that one before.
No, you never heard Scumberland? I think the big joke is that it's way nicer than the town I'm from. So like, Scumberland. It's like, have you been there? It's a lot nicer.
Yeah, it is. I consider a part of my town, and I'm just like, Cumberland's nice. I like it. There are a couple of like kind of like ratchety parts, I guess you could say, but I mean, there is in Lincoln too. There is everywhere in this state, you know. But anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay,
so
Nine Men's Misery.
It's a monument in Cumberland, and is the oldest known monument to veterans in the United States.
Okay, well, I feel bad for laughing now, but what is? I feel like I just laughed at. It's misery because they're like fighting in a war or something. That's bad. I shouldn't have laughed. What is that? That's it. It's just a monument for what war?
Erected in memory of the colonists killed in Pierce's fight during King Philip's War in 1676.
Oh, okay. So it's long enough ago that you don't have to feel as bad.
Yeah, too soon?
It's too soon for a joke about King Philip's War.
It's just like Nate's laughing. It's like this was built in 2005.
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was gonna be
sorry.
Like some recent conflict. I'd be like, oh no, I feel like a jerk. But I think it's safe to say most people do not recall the horrors of King Philip's War, or at least on a first-person basis.
Yeah, it's about 300 years old. I think we're safe.
We're safe on this one. Good, I don't have to edit that out.
We're safe on this one. Yeah, just like like the state appetizer or whatever, and you're like, Although that's something you could make fun of, even if the state appetizer was calamari in 1676. You could be like, yeah, it's whatever.
Calamari.
You could rag on it.
I don't know if they were eating a lot of calamari in the 1600s. At least not in. Well, they might have been eating it, but it was probably like raw or something, or just boiled.
Ugh.
Boiled calamari.
Ugh.
All right. Well, if you want to support our show for some crazy reason, you can do so in a number of ways. One is become a patron on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show. Another is leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Another great way to help the show and help other people discover the show. You can also donate on PayPal on a one-time or monthly recurring donation. We really, really appreciate it. So our patrons coming to us at the $25 Super Trooper tier via PayPal is Steve Seaborg of nameonanything.com and alltheworldsastage.net. At the $20 Shades of Deep Pockets tier, Ryan M. The $15 Highball Shooter tier is currently vacant, so if you want to occupy that, you can do so on Patreon or PayPal. The Turn It Up to $11 tier, Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg. The $10 Someone Came tier, Richard Fusey via PayPal. Thank you very much. At the $5 money lender tier, we have Clay Wambacher, Greg Sealby, Frank Teelgard Mortensen, Mike Knowles, John Convery, and Arthur Smith. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardot, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, and Anton Glaving. And at the $1 made-up name tier, Els Murders, Spacey Noodles, The Atrocious Leaky Mausoleum, and Michael Vader. Thank you very much to all of you guys. Also, thanks to our brothers at the Deep Dive Podcast Network, Riot Sabbath Bloody Podcast of a Madman Now, The Simple Man at Skinner Reconsidered, and Terry T-Bone Mathley of T-Bone's Prime Cuts. And thanks, as always, to the patron saint and archivist of the Deep Purple Podcast, Jorg Planer. Thank you so much for all of your support.
Yeah, I gotta say too, just before we continue, that Rise Resurrection of Sabbath Bloody Podcast, this new direction he's going in is pretty awesome. I really am enjoying it.
It's phenomenal. Yep.
Yeah. If anybody's looking for really quick and dirty deep dives into the early Ozzy years, 79 on, like, it's great. And I've emailed him a bunch of times and like, I love this show. I love the, he's a couple of emails back and forth, but yeah, they're really good. I think he's trying to keep them under a half hour or so.
Yep.
So yeah. And they're just really a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
It's the opposite of our show. If you want something, get in, get out, get all the information in detail in a nice, concise way. Great thing to listen to. If you don't want to hear people blabbing on about 9 men's misery or whatever it was, then you can check out his podcast.
We're working on it. Just paring it down a little bit.
Being concise is not our thing. It's not. We might lose patrons if we get concise.
Yeah.
Well,
we do the Italian goodbye every week.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna get going, and then a half hour later, all right, I gotta go now.
Well, before we move on, we do have a sponsor this week, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them. We're getting a sponsorship. This time of year, the heat and everything's getting to people, and you might get an upset stomach. So we've got the product for you.
Like the beat of the tom when the evening shadows fall.
That is the shortest ad ever for Zantac. That's a little kind of lounge singer attitude coming at you from JLT there. I like it.
For a minute, like after a couple of seconds, I was like, did it cut off? And you're like, no, that's it.
Maybe it did.
Really short.
But that's all I have.
That's really short.
It may have cut off. And that is the last JLT sponsorship. They've announced the JLT Corporation is going to be pulling out. Do have one more that I actually found independently that I might bring back in at another point. But that exhausts the Jorg Planer reserves of JLT commercials. So
wow,
we'll be always looking for new sponsors. If you find anything related to JLT or otherwise, or any member of Deep Purple being involved in commercial jingles, please send them our way so we can play them on the show. But here we are at episode 72. There was a total of how many of these? 24 that we've played so far over the past year.
Well, it's been that many, huh?
Yeah, pretty good run we had. I feel like we should do like a retrospective, like in memoriam, and play like highlights from all the last. We could end with the full 6 seconds of the Zantac ad. No idea why that has anything to do with Zantac, but all right. So this week we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be debuting the Deep Purple Game Show. We have two guests and John to be competing to see who will win the first episode of the Deep Purple Game Show. It's the game show that's sweeping the nation. Everyone's talking about it. You actually have to know a little bit about Deep Purple to compete. So very hard finding contestants. We're going to be bringing it to you, and hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be moving over to that in a second. But anything else we need to prepare our listeners for as we dive into the Deep Purple Game Show here?
Get ready for some fun. Get ready for watch me get my butt kicked.
And get ready to see John get a copy of the home game. Still working on that.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, here is the Deep Purple Game Show.
Enjoy.
And welcome to the Deep Purple game show. This week, we have coming to you from Rhode Island, our first contestant, John Matola. How you doing, John?
Yeah, good.
Hey, we're not going to introduce you because everyone knows who you are.
Everybody knows me.
Our next contestant is Allegra Hill. Where are you coming to us from, Allegra?
Miami.
Miami.
Florida.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I should have known that. I should have looked at my intern didn't give me the notes. So Allegra, tell us a little bit about your history with Deep Purple and why you're representing on the show today.
So I got into them very late in 2017, but it was just, I listened to The Surprising from Infinite and it was just, wow. It just grabbed me. And then I listened to the older stuff again and with a new appreciation. And well, from there, it was just one of my favorite bands from now on. I saw them in 2018. That was very nice. And yeah, I've just been a fan since. I run a website where I talk about the history of the band and their music and their stage performance. And yeah, that's just me.
Awesome. Where can we find this website?
It's at gottahearemall.com. I'll type it in now. I just changed the URL actually, so.
And that's funny because you got into them, you say late, but you still saw them before we did. I had like a 25-year head start on you, and you still saw them a year before I did. So, well, I think I'm the only one you beat, John.
Oh, not
John
me though.
them,
remember, I allegedly saw them.
I forgot.
2006 or something.
Well, yeah, your site's great. And
fact checking me. Yeah. I think it was probably 2004. I was close.
Bananas tour. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. But your site's great, and it's got a cool kind of daily take on what was going on with the band. And what I like about it too is what's gone from a lot of websites with Twitter and Facebook and all that is it's a lot of long form articles and where you really kind of dissect things, and you can see your excitement for Whoosh in case people weren't noticing that based on your background.
I'm so excited.
Your physical background on the video, I should say, the actual album cover. So that's awesome. So thank you for joining us this week. And then we also have a returning guest, Mr. Scott Haskin. Scott, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be back and see how well I do on the show.
And for those of you that for some reason were tied up and didn't see Scott's last time on the show, tell us a little bit about your background with Deep Purple.
That was a crazy episode, by the way. I've been following Deep Purple since I was, I want to say probably 10 or 11 maybe. And I'm old now, so that's been a long time. Came to them through being a fan of Rainbow. And when they did the San Antonio Live Between the Eyes concert, they played Smoke on the Water. And I said, I don't know this song. This isn't a Rainbow song I'm familiar with. And my mom said, well, I think the guitar player used to play for Deep Purple or something. And turned out she was right.
It was only the one color of the rainbow back then.
That's right, yeah. Bobby Rondinelli on drums. Belated happy birthday to Bobby.
Yeah.
Well, this will be very belated by the time the episode.
Yeah, by the time this airs, they'll be like, "Why are they bringing that up? That was 2 months ago."
Yeah. We're recording the day before. Yeah. Sorry, we're recording the day before Steve Morse's birthday. So happy belated birthday to him too.
Yeah, happy belated.
That's
we should start looking ahead like 6 weeks and see whose birthday are going to be around the time this airs. So Allegra, you said you got really into the Surprising. So you were familiar with some of the older stuff, and that just kind of rekindled your interest, or was that your intro to the band?
That was my intro. I'd heard Smoke on the Water on the radio, and that was about it.
Hard to avoid that.
And then I heard Infinite, and it just clicked. It was amazing. And I'm classically trained, so one of the things that I really enjoy is listening to their concerts. And Don Airey would, quote classical stuff, and I made it a game to try to recognize what he had quoted. And I don't recognize everything, so it's very interesting.
I think I mentioned that on a recent episode where it was. No, we're the ones with the podcast, so we're the real nerds. I think I mentioned that on a recent episode, was that Don Airey does all this stuff and John Lord would do this stuff, and that we're too dumb to really pick up on any of the things or the references that they're making. So it's cool that I'm sure that stuff is for people like you that were classically trained and can really pick out those sorts of things. So that's great.
Yeah, except last year when we picked out in his solo like Mr. Crowley, and we're like, oh, he put it in there, and that's pretty much it.
That's as far as we can go.
That's
Every
all
so
we
often I can recognize like Gershwin or something. If like, oh, that's Rhapsody in Blue, but beyond that, I don't really know.
Such a good one.
So that's awesome. That's great. And Don had mentioned when we talked to him about for a time in maybe the early 2000s where everyone coming to the show was he called them the gray-haired ponytail brigade or whatever he called them, and then said with the more recent albums that they were starting to see younger people at the show. So that's great to think that people would be at this stage, 40 almost 50 years into the band's history, getting turned on to their most recent album. That's awesome.
I think there was an interview a few years ago with Ian Gillan where he was talking about the age range of people at their shows now is 18 to anyone who's still vertical. Mm-hmm. And he asked his child why, and they said, well, Dad, Deep Purple's cool again.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That's awesome. All right, so here's the deal. Today we've got the Deep Purple game show, trying something a little bit different. And we're going to get right into it here. Not at all sloppily thrown together at the last minute.
So did you write that?
I poorly scored it.
She's like, did you write it? Nate's like, should I answer? Does she like it, or is she gonna chastise me?
Write it? No. Poorly arrange it? Yes. Okay. So
that was fun.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I used up the whole production budget on shoddily making that logo and song. Okay, so the show is pretty simple. We're going to give you all some questions, and then you are going to give us your answers, me, and I'm going to give you an arbitrary score based on your answer. So most of the stuff is going to be pretty subjective. Some of them not so much. So here we go. Just explain that. And first question, we're going to go to Scott first, our returning guest. What is the funniest Deep Purple song and why?
Ooh, I'm taking it this is a subjective one.
No, there's one answer and you've got to get it right.
I'm going to say MTV because I think it just goes to show how ridiculous the things that they sometimes go through just to be a famous band are. That's
a good one. It's the Gillan and Grover one, right?
And Grover, yeah.
Good. I like that. John, do you have an answer?
Oh, geez, the funniest. I don't know if I ever listened to Deep Purple and was like, I
know, that's why it's hard.
Yeah, it is. Actually, yeah, I do. It was, oh God, let me think of the song. I think for me, it's Listen, Learn, and Read On because of Ritchie's guitar solo, because it makes me.
I knew where he's going.
Every time I hear that, it sounds like somebody's torturing a cat. So, like the last time I heard it, I was laughing so hard because the visuals it was giving me in my own head was just making me crack up. So, totally subjective. Some people might think that's an awesome solo, but I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he had an odd guitar tone in that era.
Yeah,
it's a little weird. All right, Allegra, you're up. Funniest Deep Purple song.
I don't know. Probably have to be a tie between Anyone's Daughter and All I Got Is You, actually. I don't know why. That one just kind of seems funny to me. I don't know why. Just darkly funny, but funny.
All right. I like it. That's funny. If I was a contestant, which I'm not, I'm definitely the host, I would also say Anyone's Daughter. Just because I like the little asides that he gives.
As soon as I picked my song, I knew right then I should have said anyone's daughter. So I know I didn't win this point.
That was the first one that came to mind, but I was trying to think of something more silly, I guess you could say.
All right, Scott, I'm awarding you 10 points for the MTV reference. Nicely done.
Nice.
John,
Thank you.
also 10 points. Great callback to the Ritchie tone. And Allegra, I'm giving you 15 points because you said what I was going to say.
Well, I just got to read your mind and then I'll win.
Exactly. Hopefully that stays with you through the rest of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next up, drink, dinner, jam. So this is a take on a more vulgar game that some people play. And you've got members of Deep Purple. You've got to pick one that you'd want to go have a drink with, one that you'd want to have dinner with, and one that you'd want to have a jam with. With this time, we're going to go with John first. Put him on the spot.
Oh, great. All right. Well, let me see. Now let me think for a minute. So I think that this is tough, but I would probably want to drink with Ian Gillan because, I mean, he's notorious drinker. Love to have a drink with him and hang out. I'd love to have dinner with Glenn Hughes, like no doubt. As much as I'd love to jam with him, like I'd love to have dinner with him because then he'd be a captive audience and we get to have a burger or whatever and talk. And jam with Coverdale because Coverdale.
Because Coverdale. Just because if you have a chance to meet Coverdale, you have to make sure.
Yeah, he had to be in the equation somewhere.
All right, Allegra, you're next. Drink, dinner, jam.
Oh boy, this one's hard actually. Probably drink. I'd go with Gillan as well. He seems like a lot of fun and very funny. That would be a very entertaining evening, I think. Dinner, I would say Don Airey probably. I feel like I could talk to him for a long time about stuff. The one time I did talk to him, I embarrassed myself very badly, so I'd like to redo.
Oh no!
I said I was learning a piece of his by hand. I meant by ear. I said by hand. It's not how you learn music.
Well, you play music usually, though. So
yeah,
Sure.
You play it, but you don't learn it. Yeah, and then jam, probably I'd say Steve Morse. I'm actually learning one of his pieces with an earlier band of his, the Dixie Dregs. He did Northern Lights, and I've learned the violin part for it, and I would give one finger to play with him, only one, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to play it.
okay, bonus question: which finger?
Pinky.
Pinky, which hand?
Right hand.
Right. So you fret with your left hand then.
Yeah.
So
all
you're just like
violinists do.
I could deal with not having the pinky on the other hand.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Scott.
Okay, I'm going to say for drink, I'm going to go with Ian Paice because the only way I would ever have a shot of playing better than him is if he got really, really drunk. I would have dinner with Ian Gillan because that would also include drinks. So I'm going to kind of cheat on that one.
Oh, Scott.
Oh wow.
And then
judges. Okay, well they're letting that go. They're letting that go.
No,
Okay.
he gets it.
I don't.
And then jam. I would love to jam with Glenn Hughes.
So you got Paice, Gillan, Hughes.
Yeah, Paice, Gillan, Hughes.
All right. Pretty good. So let me tabulate these up with the judges. The judges are awarding John another 10 points. They're giving Allegra 10 points, and they're giving Scott 15 points.
Whoa.
They actually appreciate the fact that you were kind of pushing the boundaries there. I mean,
Nice.
I don't know. I don't make the rules. You have to talk to the judges about that, but that's a little weird.
I'm good with it.
This is our first game show episode, and there's already like a scandal brewing. I can't believe this. I thought this was all going to be above board.
I demand a recount.
All right, so we got our next bit favorite Deep Purple album cover and why? Oh yeah, I got to tell you which one to go first. Allegra, this time you can go first.
Well, I think my computer background, for those of you in the audio only world, it's whoosh, will figure it out. It's whoosh. The instant I saw it, I was just like, my goodness. It was, I don't know why. I think it's really beautiful. There's something really about the starkness, about the color scheme, everything about it. Just, I love it.
All right. Excellent. John.
So I'm going to go with Fireball. It's not by far my favorite Deep Purple album, but it's definitely one of my favorite album covers because I remember when we were reviewing it and we were just kind of looking at it in depth. I was just really appreciating like how cool the artwork was and, you know, just how it did something different with the four faces. Like in those early days, like Machine Head, in Rock, those were all really cool album covers. Even Come Taste the Band, I was considering that one, but Fireball is kind of one of my favorites of those because I think it's one of the most original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you seen the behind the scenes promotional images with all of them, like getting ready to take the photos? That's really,
Yeah.
I don't know why I think that's really funny.
Yeah, because
Oh
they're all
yeah,
like
the one with
they're
they're
shirtless.
shirtless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
John
those
Lord has
were
like the
fun.
ascot on still.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite photo shoots of them too. Like it's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. There's something about, even though Ritchie always has a shirt unbuttoned down to the navel, he just looks like weird with no shirt on. You'd think of anyone, she should look completely at home. All right, Fireball. Scott, you're kicking up the anchor leg. What's your favorite album cover and why?
By far, the cover that makes me the happiest also makes me the saddest. It's Burn. They put so much effort into that, you know, with making the candles and doing the molds and all that. But the reason that it makes me the saddest is because when they reissued the candles, I didn't get them in time, and now you can't get them again. So that kind of bumps me out. But as far as, I mean, I've liked most of the covers, but that one, to me, there's just so much. It's so rich and full, just like the album.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, judges. We've got 15 points awarded to John, Fireball, 15 points awarded to Scott, and an unprecedented 25 points to Allegra for Whoosh for the audacity of going with an album that hasn't even been released yet. Well, I guess as of recording this. By the time this comes out, it will be out. So,
unless COVID gets in the way again. Fingers crossed.
But that's
We're supposed to
excellent.
have it by now.
And I did like a video like a while back when we were doing the quarantine videos, and somebody asked me my favorite album covers, and I put that I think in my top 3, even though it wasn't out yet. Just because it is. I really dig it. I think the same thing. Just the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a really cool looking album cover. So.
Yeah, just the visuals on this are just next level. I mean, all the music videos were just amazing. I just sat back and gasped when I watched them.
Yeah,
they were just beautiful.
You can see all of the whole marketing strategy they had for this album, and unfortunately and during very challenging time, and they have to push everything back. So it's unfortunate. You see all the work that went into it, and hopefully everyone's still going to enjoy it when it comes out in a couple weeks.
I will.
I will. I just really hope that my theory is right, and that somewhere they take the helmet off and it's Rod Evans.
That would be awesome.
It would be amazing if he actually filmed all the videos and everything.
We found him. He was on Mars, wherever that.
He might as well be.
Yeah. Well, he's home now.
That's right.
All right. Our next segment, Dual Pepper. What does that? You get bonus points for anyone who knows what a segment called Dual Pepper could mean.
No idea.
It's the same initials as Deep Purple.
It is the same initials as Deep Purple for sure.
Oh, she's sharp.
John's like, I'm so outclassed here.
It's like rearranged.
It's rearranged. There you go.
Deep Purple.
It's an anagram for Deep Purple.
Oh, for crying out loud.
How did I not see that?
Allegra gets an extra 10 points for figuring that one out first.
Well done.
All right. So for dual pepper here, we're going to do a few different songs that will have the letters all rearranged, and you have to tell me what song they are. So we're gonna do. John's ready.
I'm nervous. Throwing in the towel.
John's ready to call it quits and be like, you know what? I'm gonna try to beat the traffic and head home. Okay, so let me get the meeting controls open here, so you guys can text me or chat with me if you know what it's gonna be. I guess you can't do that when we're doing this screen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I can't see the screen when I do that.
No, we'll just yell it out.
Yeah, if you scroll down to the chat function, it obscures part of the screen, but it should.
It doesn't show up for me because I'm sharing my screen. So.
We can just whoever says it first can.
Yeah, you guys can. Yeah, we shout it out. Based on
I think
how
our voices are distinctive enough.
Yeah, and based on how this part went, Allegra will be getting them all, and you guys will be caught flat-footed. So here we go. Downey Myth Raiders. And I can start giving hints if you guys can't figure it out.
Oh my goodness.
It's a tough one. So this is a Mark I song.
And the address. No, it's got an M in it.
Oh, that was a good one though.
Downey Myth Raiders.
What?
It is off the album Deep Purple.
Why didn't Rosemary?
Oh, you got it.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
Why didn't
I
Rosemary?
actually got it. Wow, I didn't expect that. I was like, heck.
All right, so I guess we'll I guess these will be straight 10 points whoever gets it first. Why didn't Rosemary?
All
Next up, All Fiber. All Fiber. It is a Mark II song. One of you really likes the album cover.
I got it. It's Fireball.
You got it, Fireball. That was an underhand throw to you, John.
I know.
I was whistling it.
I
I was
can't.
whistling it.
I'm really bad with these.
Okay, I see how it is, because I thought if it was broken up into 2 words, it was a 2-word title.
Yeah, should have.
Yeah, that would have helped too. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a jumble of letters formed into a new word.
Okay, John.
Pretty much. Yeah.
John claims that would have helped. We'll see when we go on to the next ones.
I claimed. Remember, I claimed. I didn't say.
Okay, next up, Date Mister.
Mistreated.
Oh, he got it.
Wow.
Oh, it did help. Good job, John.
I don't know how I got that one, but it's probably because it's one of my favorite Purple songs.
All right,
Good one.
Mistreated. Very well
I like
done.
the
Next.
rainbow versions too.
Date Mister.
All right, Dull Yak.
That sounds like an Ian Gillan ism.
It does.
It does. It does.
It's actually an Ian Gillan song. It's not a jumble.
Dull Yak. So this one is off of Come Taste the Band. Wait, is this off of Come Taste the Band? Yes, it's off Come Taste the Band.
Lady Luck.
Oh, Lady Luck.
Yeah, well
I
done.
love that song.
Luck
The-
beyond
That is a
the-
great
the
song.
beginning is like,
Same.
oh yeah.
All right. And I think this is the last one. Avocado
darn.
Mitch Vehement.
Oh, what the hell?
Avocado Mitch Vehement.
Vavoom Ted the Mechanic?
Oh, Scott's on the
Whoa.
board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Scott. Wow.
I got to earn my keep around here.
The one more Sarah song and I didn't get it.
You see that then? So me and Scott actually got one each, so I feel better about everything.
Very well done. Very well done. But
Yeah.
Allegra's coming out of this round
Yeah,
with
killed this
30
round.
points and Scott and John getting 10 each. Very good.
Yes.
Those
All
were
right.
well done, by the way. Let's
Yeah.
hear it for Nate with those. That was great.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, hey,
Yeah,
just
those
hear
were
it. Let's
really
hear it for
clever.
the anagram generator I used to figure it out. I wasn't doing that by I wasn't doing that by hand with some like Scrabble tiles. I'll tell you that.
Wah, wah.
I thought of the songs though. I went that far. Okay, now that we've done your favorite Deep Purple album cover, we're gonna move on to the next segment, which is your least favorite and why. Least favorite.
You have to pick
album.
someone.
Oh yeah, I have to. Sorry, I'm new to this hosting game. I was waiting for somebody to buzz in. Allegra, you can start. What's your least favorite Deep Purple album cover and why?
I think I'd have to go with Bananas. Not because it's visually unappealing, but because it caused the album to be so sold short and treated as a joke. And I mean, but some of the songs on there are like really good. Like the title track is so fun. I don't know. I really like it. So I feel like if there had been a better or a different cover, maybe it would have been not quite as received so poorly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's one thing to name your album Bananas. It's another thing to have that cover. It's
Yeah.
Bananas all over, literal bananas on it.
it's a weird. Like the part of me says, "Wow, good for them to just be like, we don't give a crap. We're just gonna name our album, do whatever we want." And I love that kind of
Yeah.
attitude. Not.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't go through a focus group.
Yeah.
It's just like this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it. So.
Yeah, they should have just done the picture of. There's a picture of Ian Gillan with a bunch of bananas on his head. They should have just had that as the album cover. Same difference.
About that.
All right, Scott, least favorite album cover.
I'm going to go with Now What. It didn't really represent anything. It didn't give a flavor or anything for what the album was going to be like. It was just very plain and nothing to me. But I do think that we should take a point away from Allegra for using the word appealing when it came to the cover Bananas.
Wah,
Not
wah.
intentional.
Was that on purpose?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
The judges are saying yes. She's gonna have to lose a point for that. I'm sorry, Allegra.
Oh,
It's all right. It's all right.
Nice.
But I got a soundboard sound in, so I got to count for something.
Okay. Now what? Yeah, that makes sense. I really like a minimalist album cover, but that one is definitely stripped bare. Like I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they put like a tiny drop shadow on it. I think it's just letters on a white background.
Right.
Okay, John, least favorite Deep Purple album cover.
Well, you gave me time to think about it because I have a few that came to mind, but I think the one that takes it is probably Nobody's Perfect.
Mm.
Okay.
Just because I don't know. I just think that it's kind of like this. I just always looked at it as just kind of non-characteristic mid 80s, like just lazy live album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's, I don't feel that there's anything like too great or original about it. I mean, even the albums before and after that, for the Mark II reunion albums, I mean, were kind of interesting, kind of cool, even if they weren't my favorites. But I'll go with that one. Can I guess what you thought I was going to say?
Oh, I don't know if I thought anything, but what did you think?
Okay.
I was gonna say?
The Shades of Deep Purple.
Oh.
Just because it was the $1 million album cover with just a picture of a bunch of guys on it, and that's
a picture of the guys in the band on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's still a fun album cover. But yeah, that one I just thought was like, I don't know.
Yeah. No. Well, Nobody's Perfect is like, there's the round dice, and then there's like the tea kettle with no spout, and then there's the
it's weird.
Yeah.
the Leaning
It's
Tower of
weird,
Pisa, and
I just didn't like it.
yeah, that's that was one of my introductions to Deep Purple when that album cover had come, when that album shortly after it had come out. The one I didn't understand, I think if you open it up on the back, it might make a little bit more sense, but there's like a pencil on the cover, and I was like, well, what's wrong with that? And there's a part of a fish, so maybe if you see the other part of the fish, it might make a little bit more sense. So yeah, that makes sense. Nobody's perfect. All right, I'm gonna.
I really thought John was gonna somehow try and work in straight between the eyes, but he didn't.
No, yeah, but
My least favorite Deep Purple album cover is Straight Between the Eyes by Rainbow.
Judges.
If we want to extend it to the extended family, then that would have to be what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got something's going on with whoosh over there. There we go. That was a big whoosh. Okay, so John, nobody's perfect. Is that's gonna get you 10 points. Scott, we're gonna award you 15 points. Allegra, you had 10 points, but are getting 1 subtracted. 9 points for your bananas explanation.
It's cutthroat now.
Okay, so we got next topic is called Fly on the Wall. So you could be a fly on the wall for any event in Deep Purple history. Your choice could be a live show. It could be some sort of incident that happened. Could be a recording of an album. What would that incident be and why? We're going to start with you, Scott.
Man, that is a great question because there are just so many things that I would want to witness. I'd want to witness the famous spaghetti incident. I think that would be fun. I would honestly have to say I would want to be there for the writing sessions for In Rock, because I think that was such a monumental time with not just the band, but that was music history right there. That changed the course of so much for so many musicians.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Allegra.
In part because I'm doing a historical project on it right now. Shameless self-plug. By the time this episode ends, it'll be done, hopefully. I would go to Don Airey's first concert with the band at Skanderberg on August 9th, because they had absolutely no preparation. They found out that John was going to pull out from the tour very soon before. They had to all scramble. He had one rehearsal, was still learning the songs. There's pictures of him, and he's got a music stand up with all the music, and yet the reviews for that concert were great, and the rest of the tour was great. So there's just something about the musicianship that it would have taken to have something so unexpected like that happen, land on your feet, and go to town. That's just so cool to me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, John.
This one's difficult.
Difficult to cure.
Yeah. Oh boy, she's just she's pulling them all up. Bananas, appealing, difficult to cure. This is.
Come on, John, don't leave us stranded.
Oh boy. I couldn't get to my soundboard fast enough. You know what? I mean, even though it's captured, even though it's captured on film, I'm gonna have to say the Denmark '72 concert. I would have liked to have been there as a fly on the wall in person, front row, uncensored, start to finish, be there. I love those from any band that I love. I love the concerts that they did before they got big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think, and that's one of the ones, I guess you could pick anything from that era, and they're oh, here's one from our new album, Highway Star. It's you can't get better than that, in my opinion. As much as I love all the other eras, I was thinking, could it be Coverdale's Audition? You can pick a million things. The Reunion, when they all got back together in '84, but that one I think would probably be the coolest.
Awesome.
That's a good call.
All right. Well, Scott, Allegra, and John, you're all getting 15 points across the board for some really well thought out answers there. Writing of In Rock, a very classic I'm sure that would probably, of the three, get the most people to say that unprompted. Denmark 72 is a great one because I know how important that concert was to you. Don Airey's first concert and getting the points for the kind of obscurity of it. I think it's a great, not obscurity, but it's a it's a deep dive, fly on the wall moment, and that's what we like here on the show.
Yeah.
So
It's also in Denmark, incidentally.
there you
So
go.
that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Ooh.
3 of the
Sorry,
8
Scott, you're
lineups.
going to have to come up with something in Denmark. We're going to have to scratch this. 0 points for Scott.
All right. Fair
3 of the
enough.
8 lineups debuted in Denmark. That's just kind of weird.
That's
Wow.
right, huh?
Yeah. 1, 3, and 8.
Wow. There's something
Interesting.
about Denmark.
It's a good test pilot country.
Yeah.
The Danish people are very accepting, so they know they're going to get a warm welcome. So
Right.
they knew
Yeah.
Lars would be there cheering them on.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, our next question. What is a better name than the Deep Purple Game Show? So we're called the Deep Purple Podcast, which we get endless grief for because it's not like every other band podcast. It's not a pun or a takeoff on a song title or an album title by the band. Everyone says it should be called Come Taste the Pod or something like that. So what's a better name than the Deep Purple Game Show? I'm going to go to my co-host first because I'm sure he doesn't have a name because I don't. So, John, what do you...
No, I don't. I
All
don't
right,
know.
0 points for John.
Come taste the podcast. I don't know. Come taste the game show. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is what it is. The Deep Purple Game Show.
It is. It's the Deep Purple Game Show. What are you going to do, you know?
Yeah, I just.
Well, let's go to Miss Appealing over here. I'm sure she's got something clever.
Now what?
No.
All right.
Works.
We'll take it. All right. And Scott.
I'm gonna steal a line from Ian Gillan and call it the Dick Pimple Game Show.
There you go. There you go.
I still haven't heard that song, but I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I've got it on my list of potential episodes for the future, but I don't have anything beyond that. So
Yeah. Might get us banned on some platforms though.
all right. John, you're gonna get 0 points. Scott, we're gonna give you 5 points. And Allegra, we're gonna give you 5 points. For
I feel accomplished.
there you
I
go.
suck.
That's got to count for something.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
No. I just.
wait,
I
do we have
thought,
to have that. What's that thing on Jeopardy? It's like bap, bap, that little beep at the time.
no. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. I don't know why this just popped into my head. What a great name for the podcast would have been. Pod Evans.
All right,
Hurrah.
I'm giving John 10 points, even though that wasn't the question. The judges
deep
have made a
dive.
one-time allowance to give him points after the question's over and answering a different question. Pod Evans. That could be
don't know why I never-
a good spin-off podcast about whatever happened.
Yeah, deep dive into Rod Evans. Yeah, exactly. Pod Evans,
Pod
the
Evans.
Rod Evans podcast. That's great. I'm so proud of myself.
Substantially less. If we could get like 5 episodes, that would be good. But
Well, if he comes out of hiding more, you know.
next,
Yeah.
the next subject is Deep Purple as. Now, this is going to be a recurring segment, assuming we ever do one of these again, where you're going to have to match up members of Deep Purple with characters from a famous piece of pop culture. And you're each going to get 2, and then I will give you a grade based on them. So here we go. We're going to start with, and this will become clear. Scott, we're doing characters from The Simpsons.
Okay.
Scott goes first and gets Homer Simpson. Which member of Deep Purple or the extended family is Homer Simpson?
I'm gonna have to go with Nicky Simper.
Nick Simper. Okay. Why
I
are you
just
gravitating
see-
towards Nick?
In that I'm just going to stand here and observe for a minute and just look in his eyes and his mouth. And it just says, without the hairdo, without the classic Nicky hairdo, that just screams Nick Simper to me.
All right, I'll go with that. Nick Simper as Homer Simpson. Okay.
Hey, Simpson, Simper. It works.
There you go.
Oh, it could be subconscious, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Nick, Homer
Distant
Simper.
cousin.
Okay, next up, Allegra, you have Smithers.
And here's where I admit I've never actually seen The Simpsons.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
There we go. Yeah, I was wondering if this would already be a dated reference.
Yeah, I just don't watch much TV. So, but he looks like a sharp-dressed fellow. He looks kind of. He's got glasses. Maybe Roger Glover. He's also very sharp-dressed.
Glover is a sharp-dressed man, so Smithers is going with Roger Glover. Okay,
Especially in the rainbow shows.
John, this is your wheelhouse. The
Oh,
Simpsons and Deep Purple coming together. Marge Simpson.
Oh, man. This is tough. Because even I was thinking the other ones, and I'm like, I'm not connecting it here. Marge. I would have to say, oh man, I know who would have worked great, but you didn't give me him, so oh well.
Well, you can you can say afterwards who you would have thought this
Yeah,
would be.
I will. Well, maybe you guys can tell me if you thought the same thing, but let me focus on this one right now. I don't know. I would say maybe Glenn Hughes.
Glenn Hughes.
Yeah, I don't know, because Glenn Hughes sometimes has that, Marge can kind of be like kind of can get kind of funky and like,
She can?
Yeah, but in like, a mom, like in a mom sort of way, and Glenn Hughes, I feel, can kind of be like that sometimes.
Well, she's very like sort of
Proper.
positive and almost spiritual in the way that Glenn Hughes is.
Yeah, exactly.
Glenn Hughes is always
thanks for
just
taking
like,
that name.
oh, the light of the universe. He's always very like
Yeah, that.
flowery and positive. So. All right, we're going back to we got one more round of each. So Scott,
okay.
Next up,
Oh boy.
Otto.
Tommy Bolin.
Okay.
Wow.
He's just got that out of control, wild kind of guy that I think Tommy Bolin probably was.
Yeah.
Probably the most partying guy of anyone in the band. I would go with Tommy.
Oh, that was a softball.
Thank you.
right
It wasn't
there.
Sideshow Bob.
Maybe next time.
Damn it.
All right, Allegra, Mayor Quimby.
Again, having never seen. Well, he's a guy who has a political career, clearly.
Yeah.
Also a sharp-dressed fellow. What I always heard other members of the band say about this member is that had he not gone into music, he probably would have gone into politics, and that's John Lord. So maybe John Lord for Mayor Quimby? You guys are probably laughing, the ones who know more about The Simpsons. But
I'd say
I don't know.
That's pretty good, actually.
I'd say for someone that's never watched The Simpsons, your answers are right on par.
Really?
Mhm.
John
Well,
Lord would be good, and John Lord would
yes.
dress up in a suit like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, Troy McClure going to John.
Oh man. David Coverdale.
Yeah.
100%. Because he's kind of got that like schmoozy, like cheeky, always like, hey, he's always on. Like I could just picture him as Coverdale.
Yeah. He looks
Hi, this is David Coverdale from Whitesnake.
You might remember me from such bands.
Such albums as Burn and Stormbringer.
It looks like Graham Bonnet a little bit.
He does.
He does look like Graham Bonnet.
Oh, that's good. Got the tie on and everything, yeah?
Oh, shoot. That's good.
Oh man. Okay, so for this round, Scott's getting 10 points for Nick Simper and 20 points for Tommy Bolin. Allegra's coming in with a respectable 10 points each for Smithers and Mayor Quimby. And John is coming in with 10 points for Glenn Hughes and 20 points for David Coverdale. That's a pretty good respectable showing from everybody.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, now I have to ask you guys
who's the extra guy?
That you guys that know The Simpsons, I'm just going to say, who would you pick for Ritchie Blackmore from The Simpsons?
Oh, that's
I know exactly who I have in mind, so I want to see if you guys say the same thing.
I think
I got to go with Bart.
Bart.
Because, Bart's,
that's a good
Bart's
answer.
like the shenanigans and practical jokes kind of guy. And that's, Richie's kind of quiet and reserved, but he can bring it.
My first choice would be Mo.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Because he's always so angry.
He's always just,
he's like, get out of here, you pukeheads.
Oh, man, good call.
Get that camera out of here. On delay.
Get that camera out of here.
Mo's Express. By express, I mean express your anger and hatred.
All right. So this next part, this might be our last. Is this our last? Yeah, I think this is our last segment here. And this is a would you rather scenario. So you have to give your answer. And more importantly, there's only 2 possible answers. So you can pick whatever you want and then give a why about your answer. So Scott, we'll start with you once again. Would you rather, you can only have one available to you for all time. It's the Deep Purple catalog from 1968 to 1973 or the Deep Purple catalog from 1974 to 1990.
Okay, so 90 would have been what album?
Slaves and Masters. So with 74, you get all Mark 3 and 4 and the reunion stuff with Gillan. And with the first one, you've got all Mark 1, 2, all Mark 1 and 2. So obviously you've got to sacrifice some of your Mark 2 stuff or all of your Mark 3 and 4.
I think the problem is that whoever put me in this position is who really needs to be dealt with.
It's like a Thanos situation where they're just gonna the rest of it's gonna be wiped from existence. It's some sort of galactic all-knowing being. It's.
Can I Kobayashi Maru it and just end the question here?
No Kobayashi Maru. No.
I'm gonna go with 68 to 73.
Okay.
I think that as much as I love obviously all of it, I think that it just, you always go back to your roots, and I think that so much was rooted in those years that designed the future. I think I would probably stick with that.
All right, fair enough. All right, and then we'll go to Allegra. Which would you rather? Oh, there you go. I think your audio was off for a second.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
What, you want to?
We'll pause it there.
It is an upsetting question.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I heard something that was worrying.
I hear that all the time. All right. Would you rather have the Deep Purple catalog from 1968 to 1973 or 1974 to 1990?
Okay, so do I probably gonna have to go 68 to 73.
68 to 73.
Yeah, because I like Mark 1 and I like Mark 2, and I'm not as much of a fan of House of Blue Light or Slaves and Masters.
Okay.
Yep.
John, 1968 to 73 or 74 to 90?
Well, I'm going to have to pick 74 to 90 because I am willing to sacrifice Mark 1 and the best of Mark 2 for my Mark 3 and Mark 4. Even though some of my favorite stuff isn't in the 80s, like that's the stuff that I listen to the most anyways.
Mhm.
That kind of means that my only Mark 2 would be Who Do We Think We Are, which is kind of a tough pill to swallow, but I'll have to take it.
Well, you wouldn't have that because it's 73. So.
Oh, was it?
Mhm.
Oh, see, I was off by a year. All right, Mark 3 and 4. I'm good.
Now he's like, not even.
I mean,
Well, it's
yeah,
not
I have
really
to
about
give.
what you have; it's about what you don't have.
Well, it's
Right.
like right. Well, I mean, I was thinking I had one Mark II, which wasn't my favorite, but now I don't have any Mark II, which, yeah, that's kind of tough. But I couldn't have no Mark 3 and 4, and I would still have Mark II. It would just be Reunion Mark II,
You still have Perfect Strangers, House of Blue Light,
and I have a little JLT at the
a
back
little
end.
JLT. Never
So
does you wrong.
yeah,
I
All
think
right.
it's fair to say, though, that John, your assumption of the "Who Do We Think We Are" album proves that your decision was not based at all on Rat Ballad.
no.
All right. So the judges are awarding 15 points across the board for all three of those answers. Very, very solid, solid answers, solid explanations. That concludes our questions for today. So we're gonna have to tally up these results. And coming in at third place, oh John, it was close. Coming in at third place with 125 points, you get a copy of the Deep Purple travel mug that Scott's gonna send it to you. He's gonna fill it with coffee. It's still gonna be hot when it arrives.
It might, yeah.
Coming in at second place at 130 points, we have Scott.
Yes.
Excellent work here today. You get a copy of the home game, which is this PowerPoint that I'll send to you.
Nice.
And then our winner, our champion today is Allegra on
Yay!
the strength of her answers and her amazing anagram skills at 154 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coming in at the odd point because the judges did not like her the appealing reference was very but still the judges were are fair.
Excellent.
They're fair and they
Yeah.
awarded the proper points. So thank you all for playing. And what are you going to do with your amazing
Thank you.
prize whatever your title as the champion of the Deep Purple podcast game show?
Put it on my, I don't know.
Update
Put it
your
on
resume.
my LinkedIn bio.
There you
Yeah.
On my
Awards.
resume.
The awards section. Awards. I won the first episode of the Deep Purple game show. Oh wow. Well, thank you all of you for joining us on this first, maybe last episode of the Deep Purple game show. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. All right, that was the Deep Purple game show. Geez, John, what do you think?
Hey, I had a lot of fun. I thought that was really cool. It's always great to get together with a bunch of people that just have a passion for talking about the same thing, like the same band, whatever. So it's just like. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of us just hanging out and kind of just batting around some fun questions and stuff. It's like something you could do in your living room, or you just, we kind of do here when we go off on tangents. So it was really cool to do that with like a couple of other people. And, you kind of mixed it up with some interesting, questions and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I had fun, especially the Simpsons thing. That really threw me for a loop. I thought it was going to be easier until like the second round, and then I kind of got my softball one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you nailed it with that one. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
before we did this show, you were literally the only person on earth that I could really talk about Deep Purple with. Some other people, maybe knew one or two things, a little something here or there, but you were the only person I could talk fluently with Deep Purple about and not worry about like, oh, he's not going to know what I'm talking about or whatever. And now, God, with all the people we've met through the show, now mostly I'm talking to people who know way more than I do and for the most part. And it's a lot of fun having so many people at our fingertips that we can chat about the band with. So it's cool.
I mean, I guess the cool thing about us too is that we still, even though we've met so many other great people, we still have that connection of our memories, our shared memories of discovering Deep Purple, growing up together, which makes our relationship a little more unique. But it's great having people on like Scott that has that same passion that we can talk about it with, or Allegra, who's a newer fan to Deep Purple, who like clearly knows a lot more about the newer stuff than we do, and I kind of thought that was
and probably
that was cool.
all the stuff that we do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know about it, but I mean, her knowledge of the newer stuff is so much more, and I actually found that like interesting, because it's like, okay, this is like stuff we don't usually talk about. So, and I'm sure that there are listeners that, enjoy that perspective or have been waiting for it, and we're not quite there yet. So,
and hey, to all the listeners out there, I get contacted a lot by people saying like, hey, would you guys ever consider covering a Whitesnake album? Would you ever consider doing this? And the answer is always like, yes, of course. We're going to cover everything. Or I mean, hopefully, but nothing is off the table if it's related in any way to Deep Purple. So the idea is eventually we're going to start getting to the later Deep Purple albums. We're just really focusing right now on just having fun and taking our time and meandering mostly through the 70s. And everything is on the table. If a member from Deep Purple is involved, or even if it's secondarily related, we're going to get to it and we're going to cover it one of these days, as long as the show goes on. So you need not worry. Everything is going to get covered. But yeah, it's great. It's great to see someone who like Allegra, who discovered Deep Purple from the very recent album from 2017. So that's really, really awesome that they're still getting new fans. Everyone's at these different entry points. Scott came to them through Rainbow. You came to them through. I came to them through Jesus Christ Superstar. You came to them through. What did you come through again?
I think just Deep Purple.
Just Deep Purple.
I think I discovered Deep Purple first, and then all the other bands afterwards. But I mean, through just my love of rock music and classic bands, like, I mean, they were in the part of the big boys, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, when a name keeps coming up, you're like, hey, maybe I should listen to this and see if it's for me. And this obviously totally was. So,
yeah. So we all have our different entry points. So it's great to see them still meet people that have different entry points that I haven't heard before. So that's great.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we should probably wrap it up. Until next week, and let us know what you think of the Deep Purple game show, and hopefully it's fun to listen to, and we'll see you next week
with a whole new episode.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also give us a rating on iTunes to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.